Testing. What would you like to talk about?
Well, Kenny is here today, the first day of the year 1979. We are very happy to have him, and we are very happy to have had a nice New Year's celebration last night. I hope it's going to be a nice year, and we hope for many more years to be able to celebrate New Year's Eve, even in Betty and Bernhard's house.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the weather is not so good, so we're going to stay home.
You know,
Benny's
yeah.
yeah, Kenny, come on.
Ernest is coming today. Maybe,
Oh yes, Ernest
maybe
is
you
coming
could
today.
maybe you could recall some stories from when you had the company. Some of your
Well,
favorite stories, which I'd
Well,
like
I
to.
don't know if that's so important.
Well, you tell me what's.
Ernest Mayer is coming today. He used to work for me, I don't know how many years. And he used to be a top salesman of mine. He always worked so hard that I'm really sorry that he did that. But he's still around with 80 years, so it didn't do him any harm. He had a lovely wife, Belle, who we always loved very much. Too bad she's gone.
Could you tell me how you got started in the coffee business? How did it start?
Well, I'll tell you how I started in the coffee business. I came here and I was a packer in some big wholesale house. And I had a cousin whose name was Julius.
Julius what?
Julius Schoen.
Schoen?
Yeah.
Is he the one that brought you over?
No. His uncle
From
only
Chicago?
his uncle gave me the affidavit. Nobody brought me over. I paid them myself.
Oh.
I wanted to come here and I wanted to go to South Africa. But anyway, this is no bearing on it. You want to know how I got into the coffee business?
Yeah.
So Julius was working for Kurt Gaines, who came from our hometown. Kurt Gaines was a clerk in a wholesale coffee company. So he said, listen, you always used to be a salesman in Germany. Why don't you meet Kurt Gaines? He said, all right. So we met him on Riverside Drive. So he said to me, what kind of business you got there? You make $12 or $13 a week. I give you 20. Come down and be a salesman. I told him I don't speak English. I hardly speak German. How can I be a salesman? You go all to those German bakeries, used to be in every block. So I pay you 20. He says, all right. So but I don't leave, so I have to give him 2 weeks' notice.
Where were you working?
In some wholesale company.
Selling what?
Well, they imported silk, ladies' silk underwear. They manufactured. And I came down to this boss, said, what do you want to do with him? You don't speak English? How can you sell him some coffee? So you see, now you made me quit my good job, $12 a week. Now you're 20 and you says, all right, give him a chance. All right. Gans said, give him a chance. Oh, what can happen? We lose $20 a week. So I started off, I couldn't sell any coffee for the love of mine. So, well, after 4 weeks, they told me, 1 more week and you're finished. So I said, all right. So is that what you want?
So what happened?
In that 1 week, I went always back to the same people. And I told them, I said, listen, you want to see me next week? You got to give me an order this week. Next week, I'm going to be fired.
You told them that?
My boss said, listen, either you get an order from you or you're fired. Not that I look charity business, but my coffee's better. Then I gave him the cock and proof story.
And they bought?
And I never made, as long as I'm in the coffee business, as many customers as I made in that week.
I guess they must have liked you a lot, these people.
Yeah. So I didn't really force it. I wanted to be friendly with them first. So then from that time on, I was in the coffee business.
How did you get to be a salesman? When you were 14?
When I was in.
How did that happen, that you chose?
Was
it chosen for you?
After I went from Realschule, I went to, as a lehrling, you had to take 2 years. Because
How old were you?
I was 15. I skipped the class because I went to Realschule, I only had to stay 2 years. So that's why I had 3 years work for nothing. Anyway, so after I finished there in Mark White, I went to Hasford, and we had a wholesale, and a bank, and a retail business. I was working the retail. And
what company was that?
Adler.
What did they sell?
Same thing, manufacture Tucher and Co.
What is that? Tuca.
Woolens.
Woolens.
Yeah. So I worked in the bank a little while, and I went in the retail business, and then once the salesman in the wholesale business, they had any business for themselves, so I said to the owner, I said, why don't you give me a chance? Let me sell it. He said, you? Yeah, I like to sell. So he said, all right, I'll tell you here, take a bicycle, go ahead and go in all those around here, those different towns, you know, where we nearby, and take a train, wherever you want to go, and see if you can sell. I give you 4 weeks time. If you can sell and you do well, you're going to get a job. So I did, you know, and I started, and I did very well, and I stayed there. I don't know how long.
Did you live with the director? Who did you live with when you were apprenticing?
I lived with the people I worked for.
Did your father have to pay for that?
My father only had to pay for the people I ate. You know, I ate out. I didn't eat
out? Did
I
you eat
ate
kosher?
out. I ate strictly kosher.
For the Jewish family?
Oh, yeah. I even had to change once because they were, you know, I was very Orthodox that time. Extremely Orthodox people. You know, that Lempenschneider and Gomorrah and that Oppenheimer. And one day I even said, you can't eat there anymore for Mrs. Lauer. I said, why? Don't ask why. From tomorrow on you eat. I don't know anymore the name of the guy. It was terrible. That time we didn't get enough to eat. You know that story.
No.
Yeah. After the war. We didn't have enough to eat.
This what year? This must have been about 1919, 1920.
21.
Yeah.
Maybe. 20. Because in inflation time, then I was in Art and Hasford, you know, when the money was going to the dogs in Germany, 23 or 34, something like that. And afterwards, I had an uncle in Meiningen, you know, so he was Irene's father.
Sachs, Irene Sachs?
Irene Sachs' father was he was the one, my forebild, you know.
Benefactor?
No benefactor. I always looked up to him because in multi-millionaire he made a success.
Your inspiration?
Yeah, and he always talked to me. And I told him, I said, listen. So he said to me, I have a friend in Leipzig, you know, with a woolen business. Why don't you go to him? So I said, all right, I'll go. I'll inclined to change my job from a little town there. You know, after I was a salesman there for a year.
How old were you for a year?
I was maybe 19, 17, 18, 19. So one day he called up, listen, he says, my friend is coming to visit me. Come and talk to him. So I went there, so he seen me, a 19-year-old boy, so kind of salesman. They had no Jewish employees, those people in Leipzig. So he said to me, well, you want to come as a salesman, your uncle salesman? I said, yeah, why not? So he offered me, I think, half of what I made. I said to him, yeah, you got to pay me double, and I only want commission and expenses. So this is what happened. Whatever happened.
Did he pay you double?
He gave me a commission. That's all. I want to make not what I make now, otherwise it doesn't interest me. So I said, no. I said, okay, that's all right. Then 4 weeks later he called up my uncle. Yes, I want him. He found out references, you know, where I worked. You know. So I went there. That's how I met Max Schoenwalder in Leipzig.
How did you meet him?
Max was Orthodox and I was also religious.
You met him in synagogue?
No. Max ate in a restaurant where, kosher restaurant in Leipzig, where, you know, I think they were Hungarians. There's good food. So I was sitting alone and he was sitting alone. So the guy said, you two guys, you come from small towns, why don't you sit together? That's how we got together. That's how we met. So we became very good friends. And
he already had a good business from his father? The paint
from
business?
his brother died and left him the business of factory and paint. He inherited that, but he built it up. So now you know a little bit about it. So now you know how I met Max.
Yeah.
We became friends.
Was he a
And I did
happy-go-lucky guy?
Oh, he was a nice guy. We were young guys. I have some pictures yet, you know. We were always
Skiing.
Oh, no, I haven't got the other pictures. I don't know. Somebody took them away. So we were friends, and we always went out together. And I went on the trips, so when I came back, first thing
How did you go? By train? How did you travel?
By
By train.
only. I only went to bigger towns, no more small towns.
What were the big towns around there?
Big towns?
Around Leipzig?
No. I went to Bavaria, you know,
Oh,
from
yeah?
Nuremberg,
Yeah?
all the way out to Czechoslovakia.
No kidding.
Yeah. Amberg,
To Czechoslovakia, too?
Naberg, Hof, Marktredwitz, you know, it's all those towns. And then I went to Hanover, you know, all those big towns I went.
Did you make a route for yourself?
Yeah,
And
I
your
did.
customers?
Yeah, my customer. They didn't give me any customers.
You made them all.
I made
And then
them.
you went to see them. You
I
serviced
went to
them.
see I made my route and all that.
Yeah.
But I want to make it short, and I did very well. Actually, we only had Gentile salesmen who were with the firm 20, 30 years, you know.
Yeah.
So, who is this coming? But I want to make the story.
The story
short.
about the Gentiles.
Yeah, I only want to say this. I was sitting in the train once, and I see those house here, you know, the guys who sell woolens from house to house all over Germany. And I met them, and I talked to them, you know, I always talk to people. So they said, well, we are there and there, I don't know anymore where. Every year we come only once a year home. Then we have a Kirmes, that's a Kirchweih, celebration of their churches and who knows what not.
Uh-huh.
So I said, why did you come? So I told him, yeah, this is this day and you come and I said, all right, make reservations for me, I come. And you dance and all that business, I come. So I want to make it short, I came today and first we celebrated for a few days, you know. I danced with the women, I drank with them and all that business. I had a good time with them.
Yeah.
They were plain nice people.
Yeah.
Not those highfalutin, big shot bosses, you know,
Yeah.
whom you have to... And then after this was over, says, now you come to me, then you go to him. I made an appointment with each one of them, I did a terrific business. Fantastic. So now comes the story. When I came home to Leipzig, I think I told you the story. I thought, boy, what orders. And cash, you know. So I gave him the orders, and third day the big boss calls me in. Mr. Schoen, I have to see you. So I must Sie sehen, sagte er. Ja, no, yeah. I went in his office, you know, that's the office. He was sitting there on a big chair, and I was sitting there on a little chair. I never forget it.
He's up and you're down.
I sat there like a little schmo. So he says, well, the reason why I called you is I have to cut your commission. I said, you have to cut my commission? Why do you have to cut my commission? You're making too much money against the Gentile salesmen who are with me for such a long time. This, what has this got to do with it? I've worked like a dog. I've worked for it. You don't pay me anything I'm not entitled to. From today on, you only get, I used to get 10%, you only get 7%. Well, I said, you're taking the initiative away from me. And you're not doing me any favors by paying. That's the way it is. And I walked out.
You walked out.
Yeah, I said, that's all, but otherwise get out of here.
Yeah.
It was all right. So that's the way you want it. I went out. I went to Max. This is Max. I wanted to quit today, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
What do you think what happened? So when I came home, I had a letter from a friend of mine from Johannesburg.
The same day. Same day.
A day or two after.
Yeah.
I said, Max, you know, I'm not going to stay with them. Out. This is out. This is the finish. Never heard it. They told me who knows what. I said, no. So I said, I'm going to go to South Africa a half a year, and I go to America for a half a year. I have a cousin there, and then, well, see what happens. Go
What-
away for a year.
What did you know about South Africa or
Nothing. He told me that it is wonderful there. You know, he does very well.
What about America? What did you know
Well,
about
so
America?
I know there's an
You knew
opportunity.
nothing, right?
No. I was 20. How old was I? 20.
20.
Yeah. So I wrote my cousin in America, Julius. He died shortly after I came here. So he said, why don't you contact my uncle? He's in Leipzig, you're not so missing. So I called up. He lived by chance in the same street where I lived, in a hotel.
No kidding.
So I called up. Oh, yes, he wrote me. So he says, come over. So he said to me, why don't you go to America first for a half a year? He says, and I tell you, I had a permit only for half a year. So he said, I tell you what I do. I go to an American consul, and I give you an affidavit, and if you like it in America, you stay there. That's how I came here. I went to America here.
So you left that job? How soon
So when
after?
I came, I came to Mr. Frank. I said, Mr. Frank, I want to have 1 year leave of absence. Why? Oh, I'm going to go to America. Oh my God, no. He knew right away why, but he didn't say anything. Oh, Mr. Schoen, we like you. We want you to come back. We want you to be partner with my son Frank, whom I was friendly with here too. His son is here. So with my son Rudy, I said, I know Rudy. So I said, well, I'll go away for 1 year. My mind is made up. So I'm going to make my tours finished, whatever it is. And then I go, I'm going to make all the arrangements. So he said, all right, it's what you want, but don't forget, I want you to come back to me. I said, okay. What else do you want me to tell him? I wanted to tell him something else, but I said, fine.
He wasn't the guy the big boss who talked to you.
Yes,
that was the
big boss. So he told me I have a brother in America, and he wanted to be.
He was
all
sorry
of a sudden,
now. Huh?
Oh my God! Naturally, he knew why I was. He knew why. He knew everything, but I didn't say anything. I said what I had to say when he told me that time.
Right.
And so I told Max. I said, Max, going well. I said, listen. This is what I'm going. Oh, boy, you shouldn't. Yeah, go ahead and go. He said, you're right. So when I went to America, that's how I came to America.
How did you? How much contact did you have with your parents while you were working? How often did you see them?
My parents were very orthodox. We used to live in a small town, and they were very honorable, nice people. But they had a limited amount of seeing far ahead. They only can see orthodox, nothing else. When I came home, sometimes for a few days, I came Friday morning to stay over Shabbat. All I had to do is stay with them, learn Mishnah and learn Chumash, and that's all. I couldn't go any place. I wasn't allowed to go out. I would have gone, but I didn't want to hurt my parents. So I didn't feel comfortable. But I loved them for what they were. There's nothing I can't change my parents. That was this. I didn't even try, and I wouldn't. And I had two nice brothers, so I made the best of it. And I always helped them too.
How old were you when you went off to school, when you left your town?
15 years. We didn't have a real shule.
Your town didn't have it?
No,
Bacha
9
didn't
o'clock,
have it.
no. That time, afterwards they had it. When Alfred and Eliezer, they went to real shule. I had to go for when I was 9 years old.
Where did you go?
I got to Salzung. That's about an hour's drive with the train.
And you lived there?
No. I went there every morning, came home at night.
At night?
Only we had to go to shul on Shabbos, on Saturday, but we didn't have to write. We had to go to school on Saturday.
You went to school on Saturday?
Saturday we had to go to school.
You take a train?
No, we stayed there.
You stayed overnight?
We stayed there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning with the train we went home. Julius and I. We had a room, and we stayed there.
You had a room?
We had a room.
As a 9-year-old?
Yeah.
Who took care of you? Who fed you?
We took some of the sandwiches along.
That must have been terribly
Yeah.
lonely. What?
We were once we were so homesick on Saturday night that we walked home. We couldn't get.
How many
home.
miles was that, maybe?
I don't know. We walked all night, 5-6 hours.
No kidding. 1 second.
That's all.
You had to go to school also?
We were dispensed from riding. I mean, we did not have to ride.
Yeah, riding we didn't have to
But
do.
we had to be
had
in
to go to
school. We
Compulsory, you
walked
had to go.
in Volksschule.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Didn't know
we had
that.
to go to Realschule, you know. There's Realschule, or Real Gymnasium, they call it, but you had to go there Saturday.
So you went mornings, you came home at night,
And
but
then
Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Sunday
came home.
morning I came home again.
And you just had a room.
I just had a room.
How old was Julius?
Same as I was.
He lived with you. You lived together.
Same age, maybe half a years old.
What was the school like?
Realschule.
What was it like? What do you remember?
Well, all I know is that we only were with Gentile boys. With other words, you see, the German Jews went to school with the Gentile boys, so they're just like the Gentile boys. They formed in us their way of thinking, and their habits and all that. We were Germans. Even we were Jews, but we were Germans.
You felt Germans.
Certainly.
Did
We
you
didn't
look
know- we
different?
didn't-
Did you look different from
no,
them?
No, we didn't. We didn't. Do I look different? I don't know.
Were they blonde and blue-eyed?
Well, they're naturally the Germans, but we didn't look any different than they were. We didn't.
The other kids knew you were Jewish.
Only the teachers were anti-Semites.
In what way?
Sometimes they made remarks. Yeah. So then I made this ein year, whatever you call it, you know, that I only had 2 years as a learling, right? The minute I came home out of school on a Friday, and on Monday I had to go to work right away.
What do you remember of your bar mitzvah?
I had a teacher, you know, with my father. Didn't like him. But anyway, I had a bar mitzvah. It was during the war. During the war,
That's
during
right,
the World War.
1917.
Yeah, and then we didn't have, then that wasn't.
Did you have it in your hometown?
Yeah, naturally.
Who came to it?
I don't remember anymore. That wasn't such a big thing.
What do you remember of it? Anything?
Nothing. No. All I know is I still know by heart what I said. A few sentences, which I always told you that. Can I say it to you?
Sure.
This is one of the most important things when this Jacob and Esau, that is when they were Jacob and Esau, they changed their birth, right? Jacob was the
Birth
second,
order.
Esau was the first, so he sold it to Jacob. And Isaac benched Jacob.
That was your portion?
That was my portion. That goes the following. This is very important. V'yiden l'chocho Elohim mithal hashomayim u'mishmanei ha'oretz v'rov v'dagon v'darosh yavtuchu amim v'yishtahahu l'cho le'yomim hevei le'vidrachecho v'yishtahahu l'cho le'yomicho avarecho oroch u'vorarecho boroch. This was a very famous prayer. So, and I got that. So this is why I'm happy.
Uh-huh.
Now you know what.
Did you get that what you gave me, those pens, that case with the, remember you gave me that bar mitzvah?
Oh yeah, I got it as presents.
As for your bar mitzvah? Yeah?
Well, we didn't make such elaborate stuff like here.
You didn't, right? No big deal.
Nothing.
Uh-huh.
Nothing. First of all, it was war. Then we didn't make much. That's nothing, I said.
Mm-hmm.
See, we were Orthodox in our little town, and people didn't like us too much. Because all the rest of the Jews, they were very reformed.
Oh, yeah?
They didn't talk to us.
I didn't know that.
No, they didn't talk. They hated us because my father, the rest of my uncle, and maybe 2 more families, they're the only ones who were Orthodox. The rest of them, they were all, they never went to shul. They hardly had
Where did your
minyan.
father go to shul?
We had a shul there.
You got a minyan?
Nice
You got a
temple.
minyan?
Yeah, but not too much.
What did the shul look like?
Nice little temple.
Did it look
Well,
women
I
and men
can't describe
separate?
the
Women
private-
upstairs?
Huh?
Where did the women sit?
upstairs.
Upstairs looking
yeah,
down?
Sure, naturally.
Was it small?
Small. We only had 40 families.
How many were Orthodox?
4.
4 families.
That's all. We belonged to Eisenach, to a rabbi who was the most reformed ever was.
You belonged?
We belonged to the Pacha.
Oh, the
our
community.
Town. Yeah, because that was all controlled by the government, all the religious.
Ah.
If you paid income tax, a certain amount of your income went to to the
religion.
teacher
The
and
government
religious
can pay for
construct,
it.
yeah. The government took care of that.
Hmm.
So that's now you have a little idea. What else? You want to know anything else about that?
Sure.
Just ask me.
Tell
You're
me.
interviewing me
Yes.
today. I'm very happy to be here with you and
I'm
be
very
interviewed
happy to
by you.
interview you.
So go ahead in case you want to have some more to know.
All right.
Whatever I remember, it's already, you know how many years ago that is?
60.
More than that,
Yeah,
61 or
sure.
2 or 3 years old.
When you
my memory is still good.
Still very
in
good.
a few years, I don't know if I still remember it at the rate
well,
I'm
then I'll
going.
play it back to you in a few years.
kids
I'll
do.
refresh your memory.
So someday, well, you keep this in case I won't be here someday, you always remember it. You never can tell, I'm now 74, I'm going to be 75, maybe. I hope so. I'm not hurry to go, that, but whatever happens, happens.
Right.
I'm a fatalist, you know that. And, well, maybe you want Ma to say a few words?
Soon.
Okay.
I'm not finished with you
But
yet.
You're not, well, whatever you want.
What was it like when you left your home, when you were 20? Because
Well,
nowadays, in America, you hear of kids leaving and going to California. And everybody thinks, how can they do that? How can they leave their home and go to California?
Well, it was the same way, I knew that my father and mother would never let me go to America. Under no circumstances. So I pulled something over on him, which I couldn't do it any different, but I felt sorry. I came home from a big trip from, I think it was on business, right, on a Friday morning, and I had everything packed, and I said to my 2 little brothers, I said, here, take a little wagon and put my luggage on the train, because I'm going to go to America after Shabbos, but don't tell anything. So they did, they took it in there. I never forget that Alfred said, he read the little, on the package.
The label.
I had a few labels and I had marked on there, USA, New York. Oh my God, he goes to USA. So I said, yeah, so don't say anything. After Shabbos I tell him and that's all. I want to make it short with you, and the shul, I told you the story many times. So Alfred was going with my mother and I was going with my father to temple in the morning. So Alfred said to my father, Papa, he's going to go to America tonight. He said, what are you talking about? I seen it, Papa, I seen it. USA, New York. I put the luggage on the train yesterday. So what happened? Dad come over to me and asked me, listen, what is this nonsense here, what he talks? He tells me he put some luggage on the USA. What's that USA? What is it? So you're going to America? So I said, well, you might as well. No, yeah, I'm going to America after Shabbos. What? How can you do a thing like this to America? What do you have to do in America? You're doing this. What's the idea? Well, I'll come back again, so don't worry about it. For half a year only. I didn't tell him that so then I go half a year to South Africa. He said, what? That was something, they couldn't say. They thought I'm a nut. Listen, I was, there's nothing you can do.
You were 21, no?
Everything was
You were
arranged.
20...
I was 21.
At least, yeah.
Otherwise I couldn't have done it. I didn't need the permission. I waited till I was 21.
Oh, you did wait till you were 21.
Sure.
You planned it that way.
I planned it that way. Otherwise I couldn't go. So this is how I came here after. They started my mother started to
Crying,
cry. They started to kind of radio shul. Then the whole Gehilla. He's going to America tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Aye. So after Shabbos says, you stay here. I'm going to walk to the station and you just don't worry about it.
Uh-huh.
My luggage was there already, So I said, I think I went to Bremen or to Hamburg. So one of those. So.
You had a ship waiting in Hamburg, probably.
Yeah, in Hamburg or in Bremen. I don't know. To München. So,
all by yourself.
Yeah. So
Were you?
What?
Yeah.
So I'd always been around by myself. I went all
You
over
always
the
traveled
place.
by yourself.
Oh, not
Were you ever frightened?
No. What for?
You had a lot of confidence.
Yeah. What do you have to be frightened
Where
for?
did you get all this confidence?
Well, I don't know. It's up to yourself. You make up your
You're
mind.
a self-made man.
You want to make a success, so you make it. So always think positive. Never think. I always tell you that.
Yeah.
If you think negative, everything will be the way negative. If
So you had
think
no
positive,
fear when you left for
no,
America.
No fear at all. No fear at all.
Mhm.
So that's what happened.
What was your father's philosophy? Can you categorize
Well, he
it?
was, he didn't have too much.
Did he have a very confident attitude? What was his attitude toward life?
Well, he was so absorbed in his religion and his working and he made a living that he was happy the way, that's all he wanted. He didn't want anything else.
His main
He had a
concern
nice
was
house.
religion.
Huh?
Religion.
Yeah. That's all. So that's how I came here to America.
Your father was a fee handler, no?
Well, you see, they had...
He had a farm?
We had a nice house.
He had a house in the town and a farm outside of town? Was that it?
Not a farm. We had a stallum, we had cows there. We had a little garden, a big garden in the middle of the town, then the Nazis needed that. And we had little meadows there outside where they got their water from the town and all that. So
How was it that your father got all this property?
Well, he worked, he had money. We were not too well off, but we were middle class.
And he bought it himself?
Yeah, sure.
Where did he come from?
My uncle, too. My father came from a little town nearby. He was born in Völkershausen, that's about an hour's walk. That time they had no automobiles. But that's how now you know a little bit about it. That's how it,
Why did he become a
you
fee
see,
handler?
there was a time in Germany when the people were not allowed to live in towns.
The Jews?
The Jews were not allowed to live in certain towns. And the Jews were not allowed
On
to...
land.
They couldn't own land either.
They didn't
own
own
land,
land, they
nothing.
didn't do this, they didn't...
That's how
you
they
couldn't be
became-
a carpenter, couldn't be a...
All they could do was money.
Only, that's all there was left for them. They were second class or third class citizens.
How did your father...
Only since
Yeah.
Bismarck came. That's
He
all
freed
right
them.
before he changed the little. Jews didn't have to serve
1870.
in the army. Only the First World War. Before they didn't. The Jews were outcast.
Exempted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always. Listen, I told you that. It reminds me on the story. My cousin Hilda told me even that, which I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm listening.
We came from Bavaria, from a small town, our ancestors. Usually they came from Hungary. 500 years ago, we have records of it. But we were living in a small town in Bavaria when I don't know who, the Duke, they had herzogs, dukes and kings and who knows what. They owned most of the land, And you've seen in the little town that my ancestors had about 7, 8, 9, 10 kids. So he said he made a decree, only one of the families allowed to marry. He didn't want them to multiply, so that's how we moved away to where we...
For that reason you
a
moved?
little town in near Praha.
How far back did your family stay in that little town?
I don't remember.
That you don't know.
I don't
What did your grandfather do? Do you know?
I don't know.
Your father's father.
I don't remember anymore. My father's father?
Did you ever know him?
No. I didn't know any of my grandparents.
Nobody at all?
No, I didn't.
He
They are-
supported Sophie from here.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. I want to hear
What?
about that. About Suffy.
Yeah, my sister Sophie, so...
Yeah. You never knew your grandparents? Nothing about them?
None of my mother's, none of my father's.
How about your uncles or aunts?
Yeah, I knew them.
Who are they?
Well, my father was in partnership with his brother,
Oh, yeah?
Louis Schoen. That's my niece and Carl's father. They were in partnership.
With a
They
farm?
were in the real estate business, yeah. They were in
Okay. They were in partnership in the business with a farm?
Yeah, they had a farm and they were in real estate. They bought farms sometimes, from those Raubritter, I call them, from those dukes, and then they sold them to the farms.
There were still dukes?
Separated.
There were still dukes
Well,
around?
they called them...
Counts?
Counts and Großherzog and all that.
Yeah.
They had all kinds, Where I was Großherzogtum Sachsen, Weimar, Eisenach. This is where I belong to.
Uh-huh.
Sachsen, Weimar, Eisenach. Then my aunt was in Thüringen, in Meiningen, they had a Großherzogtum Meiningen. He even had a big castles there and all that. You see all those castles in Germany, they're usually on top of a mountain. And all those dukes and herzogs and kings and who knows what.
Wait.
I call them Raubritter, and all the people there in the valley, they worked for them 100 years ago.
Yeah. When you were a child, you studied all this in school, the history of Germany? Did they teach you all that?
German history and all that shit.
Yeah.
Deutschland.
Über alles?
Yeah, that's how you got that complex that the Germans are better than all the rest of
Is that so, when you were a
They
kid?
taught you that.
And down with the French?
Oh yes, the French were your arch enemies. And the English were a little better, but the French, whenever I seen a Frenchman, I always hated him. I don't
You were
know
taught
why.
that in school.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Okay. Who else was related to your father? You said he had one brother, Louis. Who else?
Yeah, then he had a few sisters, the Röhmhild, you know that.
I don't know that.
You know that Hilde, who comes here, and Ludwig Friedman. He died already. He was my cousin. My father has a sister who
Who's that?
married that Friedman in Röhmhild.
I don't know.
Hilde comes sometimes. Her name
Hilda
is
from White
Wagner.
Plains? No.
No. This is Louis Schoen's daughter.
That's Louis Schoen's daughter?
Naturally, Hilde, Karl, and Manfred. They're my first cousins.
Ah.
Their name is Schoen, but the other
Manfred
one,
Schoen. Who is Manfred Schoen?
He's in the butcher business.
Do I know him?
Manny, sure. You know, he has two daughters.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, sure. You know.
That's your first cousin.
You know, his wife is such a fat woman.
Haven't seen him in years.
Oh, I see. And Karl, you know Karl?
He's in Israel now, right?
Yeah, Dr. Karl Schoen.
He was a research chemist, yeah.
That's his brother.
Uh-huh.
And then Julius, he died shortly on leukemia when I came after he was here.
He was your first cousin too?
Yeah.
He was Louis'
Karl's-
son?
Yeah, Karl's brother.
He was in America. Why did he come?
was in
Why did he
America.
come
To
here?
him I came.
Why did he come to America?
Well, I don't know why he came. He wanted to go away too. I don't know what he did in Germany. I don't remember anymore. He was always a little weak, a little guy, and he always was very smart. And he probably had to go to America.
So about your grandparents, you don't know.
I don't know anything about them.
Nothing.
Also, I know their maiden name. My mother's.
What is that?
My mother's maiden name was Hyman. My father's parents'
Mother's name?
mother's name was Rosenstock.
Rosenstock.
Yeah, from Geyser in the Rhön or something like that.
Uh-huh.
There are a
Now,
lot of. I had some cousins.
you had some cousins?
All a lot of cousins I had. My mother had, I think about Hyman's. There were, I think, about 8 brothers and 3 sisters.
She came
And
from a
they're
big.
all-
She
yeah.
did.
My mother.
Had like 11 brothers and sisters.
Altogether, they maybe were 10 or 12. And you know, when I told you that how many I brought over here, 69. So all this were all cousins, like the Bergs. Her maiden name was Hyman. Like all the rest of them, you know, like that. Sachs, his wife, her maiden name was Hyman. Was my Uncle Karl's sister. Irene. You don't know?
I don't.
And the Heinz Hyman, you know, he's in California. I don't hear anything anymore. He's the one I brought over here. Heinz and his father too. His father died here. He came over Cuba here.
Where did the Hymans live? What was your mother's hometown?
My mother's brothers all moved to mining in Thüringen. They had a big business there. And my mother came from Schwanfeld in Bavaria, a small town.
How did she meet your father? Do you know the story?
That was a Schatzchen. You know what Schatzchen is? They were...
It was arranged?
Yeah, it was arranged. You know, my father's first wife died, so he married my mother.
She died in childbirth with Sufi?
My sister was born. Her mother died when she was.
Do you know what her name was?
No.
You don't know.
Her maiden name was Khan. My sister's mother. Maiden name.
How many years was it between the death and his marrying your mother?
I think 4 years.
Who raised Sufi in those 4 years?
My mother.
No, but
My regular mother.
yeah, when she was 4. What about
But
between
My father had a twin sister.
Feischl?
Feilchen.
Feilchen?
Yeah, she fell downstairs and she died one day. I don't know.
Were you a kid when that happened? You remember her?
Yeah, I don't remember it too. I think maybe it was 8, 9 years old.
So you have twins in your family?
Yeah, maybe you get some twins.
Yeah, that's
in there.
possible.
Yeah.
So your father, it was an arranged marriage?
Yeah, it's the Schatzchen, that's the way they
You
did
know
it.
this for a
Yeah.
fact?
I married your mother.
Was arranged too? Who
Yeah.
arranged it?
Well, arranged it. I was introduced to her.
Yeah, but arranged means, doesn't it mean that,
They were not arranged.
They
We
have
were
to
not-
pay-
We didn't arrange anything. Yeah,
what does it mean in Germany? It was paid for?
well, they had a mid-gift, you know, and all that stuff. So as a matter of fact, the following thing happened to me once. I had a customer in Thüringen, and I came there Schmal Kalten, Mr. Miller, Kaufhaus. So I told him what I have, I want to sell them. So after I was finished, so I said to him, well, I come from not far away from here, born in Praha, I talked to him, in Germany you don't talk so much to them. As a matter of fact, all my relatives are in Meiningen, because it was right near Meiningen, Schmalkalden. So he said, yeah. I said, what's the name? Hyman. Oh, that Hyman, he wanted to palm his sister off to me. He wanted to palm his sister off to me, that Carl Hyman. I said, what was her name? I said, Therese. I said, yeah. That's very interesting. I said, that's my mother. That was a coincidence. Otherwise he offered my mother to him first.
So Carl sold his sister.
Not sold, shocking, that's all.
It was arranged.
My father was looking for a second wife before the kids for this house.
How soon after their marriage were you born? Do you know?
A year after.
A year.
Yeah, he didn't waste any
He didn't wait any. And how soon after that was Alpha and Eliezer born? Many years.
15 years later.
15?
Or 13 or 12 or 12.
So he waited a little bit.
Yeah, so he was busy making money. That's all.
What do you remember about your parents when you were a child? Do you have any memories?
I always respected them, and I always didn't want to do anything to hurt them, because my ideas were different than theirs.
They were different.
Oh yes,
Your father was very
narrow-minded.
Very narrow, right?
Yeah. You couldn't. And they were so. I don't want to call it fanatic, but they were so. That's the way it is, and there's nothing you can do. Don't ask any questions.
No questions.
No questions.
Just observe it. Follow.
That's all you have to do it. That's all there's to it. And that's the way it was.
Would you say, this reminds me, would you say that Eliezer is like that now?
Yeah.
Eliezer and Leah is just like your father.
Just like that.
Huh?
He wouldn't. That's it. And there's nothing else you can do with Eliezer.
That's just like your father.
Albert is more worldly. Yeah, more worldly. He knows that. There's nothing. He even has the same, I would say, characteristics. But he's a wonderful guy.
Does Eliezer look like your father?
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
Your father was kind of a short
He was
man.
Small man. My mother was tall.
Your mother was tall.
Yeah.
Was she heavy?
Yeah.
Stout?
Yeah.
Was she a good housewife?
Yeah. She was like, I look like her, like the Hyman.
You look like a Hyman.
Yeah, she was like her.
And Alfred Eliezer looked like...
No, Alfred looks like me, but Eliezer looks like...
That's right, Eliezer looks more like your father.
Yeah.
Eliezer was named Siegfried, right?
I found out his name was Simon, Siegfried Simon Schoen.
Who was he named
Simon.
after?
Well, maybe after some grandfather. Isaac Isidor Schoen.
So your first name was Isaac.
Isaac.
And when did it become Irving?
But when I came here, you can't...
Is that when it happened? You changed it?
You changed it. So it's your Jewish name here instead of Irving or Isidor is Irving.
Who told you that? The immigration man?
No, well, not the immigration. The guys, Gans did that.
Oh, you couldn't go around saying my name is Isaac.
Yeah, when I started to work for them.
Yeah. For Gantz. What about before that, when you were selling?
Well, it was only a few months. I didn't sell anything. In Germany, my name was...
Isaac?
Isidor, yeah.
So they didn't know what your religion was in Germany.
Now, are we finished? No,
No,
I gave you
had enough for now? I want more.
You want more to know about me?
Yeah, you feel like doing, you feel like a...
Tell you what we start now. Now we have answer and question period.
Okay.
So you go ahead and ask me what you'd like to know about me. Why I'm born, I don't know. And what's going to happen?
Ethics of the fathers.
Ethics of the fathers. You want to know some about the ethics of the fathers, which I learned them? I knew them by heart.
As a kid?
No, when I was a little one, and I used to use them today even sometimes. When I have a customer, and it's naturally only with Jewish customers, and they give me a hard time, I usually say something in Hebrew to them, to upset them. or I have a hearing aid, I said, I don't listen to you now. Shut you off. So, to make it a little pretense, to get a little on the humor, to offset them. That's a gimmick. But anyway, what else you want to know? You go ahead and ask me.
What was the story about when you were a kid and the headmaster, the teacher, took you on his knee and you took him on your knee?
Oh, well, that's not the headmaster.
That was
the
your
guy in Hebrew school. In Hebrew school, in Germany, they hit the kids in school. So in Hebrew school, there was a teacher who hated my father because my father had his own shochet coming from Rabbiner Kahn in Fulda, And he didn't want to have anything to do with the teacher because he belonged to the rabbinate reason in Eisenach, because that was the most reformed. So he let it out on me. So I want to make it short. And one day, he hit me again. And, I was a little strong guy.
Were you?
The teacher was a little guy, Jewish, So I took the stick and gave him a beating.
You did?
And there was an uproar,
How old were you? About 13, 14?
Yeah.
What happened then?
Nothing happened. He didn't do anything.
He didn't hit you anymore?
No, he didn't. Just the opposite. So when he came here to America, we seen in the Aufbau once, he was 75 years old, so your mother said, why don't you call him, my teacher at that time, and visit him. I didn't even know he was here. So I said, all right. So I called him up, Mr. Friedman, this is one of your former pupils, your star pupil. Can I visit you? Oh, da ist es doch. Yeah, da ist es doch. So I said, all right, I come up. So he told Ma too, that time I had to hit you because I let everything out of what your father did to me and
He admitted it to you?
Naturally. I said, I didn't do anything wrong in school. So why did you hit me always? Then I said, I didn't do anything, you always hit me. So I said, what the heck, what do you want me to do? There was a time and limit to anything, so this is what I gave him back.
Uh-huh. Do you
little things which...
Do you recall having friends in your town who were Christian, Gentiles?
Yes,
kids?
I had friends, most of the Christian friends, but not too many. I wasn't allowed to associate with them.
You were not?
No, my father didn't want me to. I couldn't associate.
What about when you were a teenager, when you wanted to go out with girls?
I couldn't.
No dating?
No. I had a lot of Bachrach across the street. I went there once, and I came home, and I lived across the street. So the minute I was gone, he says, what are you doing there? So he sent little Alfred or Siegfried over, what are you doing here? Come home, you have nothing to do there. All right? What do you want me to do?
What do you think your father hoped you would become? What do you think he expected you to turn out?
I don't know, he never told me.
You never talked to him about it?
No, maybe business, I don't know.
You went your own way?
By the way, he didn't interfere in that. All he wanted me to be, he was interested that I should be an Orthodox boy.
Orthodox?
That's all.
Did he ever find out what you...
No, he never did.
Did he assume when he came over here that you were Orthodox?
No, he never did. Any different. I never did anything for him to... He never knew, but my mother had an idea.
She knew.
She felt it, I never went there over Shabbos, so that I came with a car there on Shabbos. I wouldn't do that. I would never do anything to antagonize him.
He was a very religious man.
That's all.
Is it true?
Narrow-minded.
Was it Alfred who was born on Friday night?
Sure. He didn't put the light on.
He was born in darkness?
Yeah. You're allowed to do it, but he wouldn't.
In those days, you had the baby at home, the child at home?
Yeah.
A midwife would come?
Midwife, yeah. They didn't have the connotation like you have today here. Hospitals and who knows what.
So you came here in about 1927. Did you go back to Germany ever on a visit?
I wanted to go back.
What happened?
So the Hitler business started, so I wrote them, I'm not coming back. I had already my papers and all that.
You had planned to go for a visit?
Yeah, 32, yeah. For a visit.
Uh-huh.
And I seen in 33 what happened. I wasn't a citizen yet, So I wrote them, you come over here. I know what's what. Oh, then he says, well, what do you mean we come over here? You come all over here. So finally, first my brothers, they went in Frankfurt in the yeshiva. One at a time. I brought them all here.
You picked up your brothers at the boat, right?
Oh, yeah, you want to know that story about the boat?
They didn't recognize you, right? What's the story?
Only Alfred didn't. And I came to the boat, so the immigration officer asked Alfred, Alfred only was 17, I don't know how old he was. So he asked Alfred, who is this man there? Me. So he said, you know him? He said, no. You don't know him? Really? No, he said. I never seen him before. He didn't. But he looks like you.
Recognizing you. Go ahead.
Alfred didn't recognize me because he was only 6 or 8 years old when I left. So he said, I don't know him. So I said, the guy said, listen, he looks like you. So he said, that's your brother. So he started to cry.
Who did, Alfred?
Alfred, yeah. So I had to make arrangements. He lived with the family. And,
didn't you live in the St. George?
No, that was Eliezer stayed with me. Alfred, I had another... Alfred, I made go to Cross. He stayed with them.
And you lived in the St. George?
I lived in one of
You had
those
a room?
hotels, yeah. There, that was Eliezer. Eliezer came on a
Shabbos?
Shabbos.
Didn't they come together?
No,
They came on a separate boat?
certainly. Eliezer
I
was
thought they
here
came-
already.
Two different years, yes,
Eliezer,
but two of one person.
I didn't know that.
Eliezer already was here a year.
He lived with you for a year?
He lived with me maybe 6 months or 8 months.
You took care of him?
It's not really.
Of all of them.
All of them I took care of. Even I told him, don't bring anything along. No suit, nothing. Just bring a little satchel along with your toothbrush. And that's the way he
How
came.
old was Eliezer when you had him for 6 months? About?
I don't know. I was maybe 18, 19.
Oh, he was already a man. Yeah, he was old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From,
How did he get into the paint business?
well, he married his wife, and his wife told him to,
No.
I don't know, whatever
The
it is.
farm, Hashara.
He was on the farm, and he wanted to
Everything.
do something.
Agriculture, he taught youngsters who wanted to go to Israel.
That's what he did?
That had nothing to do with the paint business.
That's where he painted all the places, and that's where he learned it. When he came out, he had the help support, and he said he's going to paint.
Did he want to go to Israel too?
They both did not want to come here.
They wanted to go to
They
Palestine.
wanted to go to Israel or Palestine at that time. So I promised them, if you don't like it here, I'll pay you the trip to Israel or Palestine.
Ah.
That's the condition they made. So I said, all right, you don't have
So
to.
he finally had his wish. He's now in Israel. He always wanted to be there.
Well, that's after it. This later, but they didn't want to come to America. They wanted to come from Germany to Israel
Where did Eliezer meet Leah?
on a farm.
Oh, this farm in New Jersey?
Yeah.
One thing I got to put in.
Yeah.
Well, now
There's
Mark puts
hardly
in-
ever a young man of his age who so much cared for even cousins and family to go out of his way to
so,
put his last penny on
so
for
It
vouching.
would be like me now at the age of 30, putting out thousands of dollars
All right.
for
Yeah,
cousins.
but
to
when
my,
he
it's like
27,
me.
how old were you when you
He was 23 and 27.
23? But in 34, when it started,
He was 30 years old.
he was 30 years old, and he started, yes, first with his brothers,
It's
all right,
amazing.
whatever it is,
and the whole family,
I did
the
it.
sister and the
I'm
brother.
sorry I didn't take more yet, so don't.
Were there
make
more?
me more.
No, but I say generally,
You
young
know
man,
that, you
he had
know,
a good
I always
mind.
tell
He
you
lived
that,
a good life.
Alfred.
Pontiac,
I always
Pontiac.
Not only that, he
Eliezer, I think they were my
lived.
2 little brothers, and I brought them here. They were the first ones. And, you know, in Saxes and all that, this is what I brought over in 1600. But I always was a humble man. You remember that? When I don't know when it was. Okay,
Rabbi
there wasn't no
Schulman was here. They wanted to honor you.
And I don't know what it was.
Mace.
Was it Maces?
They wanted to make some out of me, and I said, I don't want.
Humble.
I let you. I
Moss.
let you do get the honor of it. I am a humble man. So then you just came down and listened to that downstairs. So you remember that stunt you or whatever it was? I don't know why. You laughed. You laughed. You
I said humble people don't say they're humble.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's why I say just now I'm a humble man.
I'm just thinking about the Kraus
May
home.
out, Heveshe Frau Riach. The dick was Anna Schliemann. Means be humble and be nice.
All is vanity.
Yeah, because someday the worms are going to get
You
everything,
anyway, right?
Regardless.
The 4F Club.
Who's the 4F club?
Was it Graushofer? What was his name? The 4F Club from Germany? The guy you knew from Germany. Gansheimer.
He had the most
Gensauer.
What was
fantastic.
his-
He created the most fantastic trust, confidence,
Did.
and relationship with his German.
Customers.
Gentiles.
They all.
There was. I've never seen anything about life. If a man puts a check in your pocket, I'm afraid Gans said that he would go
When I
down.
went in business, she tells you some story.
What's that?
Don't you know that story? I had a customer who.
Sir.
I had a customer.
Yeah.
But there are also many stories.
Yeah, I
can't
wanna
tell
get
you.
'em.
This is
I'll
one
get 'em.
story. It's,
What story is that?
your mother just I had a customer, and I went in business for myself, you know, naturally my competition against it, so he's not going to last long, he has no money, he's going to go broke. So he told it to one of my customers, who were most of those German goings whom I was very friendly with. So I came there one day, and his name was John Morkel. So John says, Irving, come here, I want to talk to you. I said, you want to talk to me about what? Here, take this, put it in your pocket, and whenever you want to pay me, you pay me back. For what? Well, I know that your competition, your former firm told me you're going to go broke. I don't want you to go broke. They spread all kinds of stuff. You believe it? Well, I don't know, but they told me you have no money. You keep on. So I thought here, so he put in an envelope $10,000 for me, which was an awful lot of money. And I gave it right back to him. I said, I don't need it, but if I need it, I was touched. If I ever need it, I'll let you know. I want to tell you that.
You've always been able to establish close friendships.
And he's the guy, while we are at him, John Morgan is the guy who, when my cousin, it's too long of a story to tell you, sucks, he came only as a visitor. And I owed to my Uncle Carl, who was my forebuilt, you know, he was my best uncle.
Example, guide.
Yeah, I always felt he was, you know, I always looked up to him. So when I wrote him, everybody wants affidavits, but not you. So he sent Hans Sachs here as a visit, not as a, we don't need you. We don't want to come to America. We do twice as much business and we do more business than we ever did before. What for? Nothing's going to happen to us. So I said, all right, send Hans Sachs. So that's Hans Sachs. When he came over here, I want to make it short. I introduced him to, I told John. Yeah, John was going to Germany that year. And I said, John, don't take any money along. My cousin is going to, because he was already 36 or 37. 38, I don't know. So I introduced him to Hans Sachs. Hans came, and I want to make it short. When John Morkel went to Germany, Hans picked him up in Hamburg and drove him around all over. And I gave Hans the affidavit when he was here. He went with him to Berlin. And his friend, John Morkel's friend, put his affidavit on top. So Hans already came back in August. The other had to wait years for years, but Hans came right back with a real reason on account of John Morkel. And John Morkel not only had, she had all my cousin's jewelry around her arm. He spent about $6,000 or $7,000, you know, 28,000 marks. He divided by 4. The Irving is
check.
He checked $6,000 or $7,000. That's how he could go in business. So now we have enough. Is the interview finished?
Not quite.
Not yet? Okay, so in case you, someday when you're going to record this, I might not be here.
I know that.
It's interesting for you to listen to it.
Well, I hope also that your grandchildren will hear it.
All right, it might be interesting.
I think it'll be very interesting.
Because it's a little story. There's so many things happen, I cannot put them all on tape. But you have a little idea what's going on. So we all came from Germany. I don't know if that's good or not.
How did you learn English?
I went to night school. I went to school.
With foreigners, with others?
Yeah, at that time the city had a night school for us.
It was sponsored by the city of New York?
Yeah.
They had a teacher for you?
Yeah, all of them.
It was for free?
Free. Every 2-3 times a night. So you could read and write and all that business. Because I had to learn it in a hurry. I was a salesman.
When you came to America, this was very much extraordinary for you to leave Germany.
Oh, that time you must be crazy.
Did they think that
everybody who left Germany that must commit a crime? Most of the gangsters came, or most of somebody
from Germany.
They had to leave Germany.
Is that so?
Why should you leave Germany? You're doing well. Listen, I had a good job.
Did you have any relatives who served in the First World War?
Well, my mother's brothers. One of them was wounded, and who knows what not. One of them, second cousin was killed. So listen, that's
in the First War.
Yeah, in the First World War. There, the Jews became even lieutenants. You know, before no Jews can become a lieutenant in the German army.
Do you remember the First War at all?
Well, I only know that we had not much to eat, and I know when they retreated, that we had the horses and everything. The horses were starved to death. They even ate straw.
You remember this?
I never get it. And what happened, they left us, I think, a dozen guns up in the hay loft.
The soldiers?
I remember, yeah.
They hid them with you?
They hid them in the straw. They left them there, so what? They left the horses, half a dozen horses, or a dozen horses in it.
They were retreating. Retreating.
They left the horses in our thing here. They left them right there. Because they left them starved. So you kept
I guess you felt. Did you feel as a German?
Only as a German.
When the war was lost, you felt. How did you feel? Can you remember that?
I don't remember. All I know is we lost the war. I don't remember. I was too small. See, I was about 10 years old when the war started. 9 years.
Your Your father didn't have to fight in the war.
He had to stay home because nobody was there to... My uncle went, Louis Schoen.
Louis went to war?
Sure. They all went to war.
I see.
To support the family, and not everybody had land, so he had to stay home. And he was a little guy, he wasn't too strong.
Louis.
My father.
Your father.
Louis had to go.
But your father, what kind of work did your father do? He didn't do anything with the horses? With the cows?
Oh, with the cows, sure.
What did he do?
He sold them and bought them.
That's all.
That's all.
Who did he buy them from?
From the farmers.
In the neighborhood?
Yeah.
He'd go around and look at them?
Yeah.
Would he inspect their teeth or their...
No, they knew that. That's the business.
And that's how he made his money?
Yeah. Bought a car for 100 marks and sold it for 300 or whatever it was.
Horse thief, horse dealer.
Yeah.
This is what Mom's parents, my father, did too, no?
Yeah, I think.
Same kind of business.
That's all they were allowed to do. In those small towns. Then they were allowed to go to big towns, then they became big merchants.
Your father...
After Bismarck came, 1870.
Yeah, your father would have been happy had there been no Hitler. Your father would have been happy to spend his life in that small town.
Certainly. He didn't want to come here neither. He didn't want it to be a burden to me.
He said that.
Oh yeah, because he couldn't take any money out.
What did he do when he came here?
Nothing.
He couldn't work.
He couldn't work no more.
How old was
He lived with my sister and I paid for it.
With Suffy?
Yeah. How old was he? I don't remember.
He didn't work at all.
He got sick and he died, yeah. And my mother died a little while later.
That was right after I was born, no? A few years after?
I think something like that. My mother always loved me. She always thought I was something outstanding.
You were special to her, right?
I even wrote a letter and I couldn't leave that letter, I don't know what I did to her.
Who wrote a letter?
My mother.
To you?
Yeah.
What did she say?
What kind of...
Thanking you?
What does your mother tell you?
Same thing, huh?
Yeah.
Thanking you?
Then she made out a will. Everybody should listen to me.
It says it in the will?
Yeah, but I didn't. I decided I don't want to have to. Everything belongs to me. I don't want anybody else to touch it.
You were very special, huh?
Yeah, I was her God, whatever it was. You saved us. No, I didn't want that.
She never forgot that.
No, certainly. Otherwise they would have all perished. You know that. I told you the story about her Sefer Torah. This is something which you should remember at all times. She went to the mayor of the town at the middle of the night, who was embarrassed when he seen her, and made sure that nobody seen her when he visited her. And she wanted to have the Sefer Torah because they wanted to burn him the next day, Whatever, I want to make it short, he told her where it was, and she went with a little, I think, one of those little vans.
Wheelbarrow, yeah.
Yeah, and got 3 of them, and brought them here, in her lift van. One went to Alfred, in Riverdale Temple, and one went in Yeshiva in Brooklyn, and the other one went into, it's now in the Prophet Chaim and
oh, yeah?
Yeah. To me, they didn't give it to me because, I wasn't so orthodox. I didn't want it. Because you have to have a Sefer Torah. There are all kinds of restrictions there. It's a little story. My mother had them. The next day they looked for the Sefer Torah. They had no idea where they were.
If I one day go back to Facha, let's say I do, I might, how would I recognize where your house was?
Well, we have the address.
Is it still standing?
I, as a matter of fact, recorded it with the American government.
You did?
That we owned this I think I marked down $275,000 worth of property. So maybe you get it someday.
If East Germany is recognized.
Yeah, this is recognized. And they acknowledge it, and I have it, and I give it to you someday. I have it upstairs in my
As far as you know, there's nobody left in that town. The Russians took it over, right? In Facha.
No, it's East Germany now.
There'd be nobody there who would know you.
No.
As far as you know.
But people I went to school with, I have no idea anymore. That's already...
And Alfred went back to that town.
Alfred went back in the army, with the American army, and you remember the story about when he arrested his teacher on the street, and when he came in with his jeep, and the teacher, he couldn't get over it, that an American soldier comes and calls him by his name, stops him on the street. He couldn't believe it, what the American said. He thought they are Superman. Okay, now for today we have a...
No, I'm going to put it here. All right, I got it. What were you saying now about Dad's life and your life?
There's a vast difference. We had young parents, the most wonderful mother anybody could have. She was a saint, my mother. Really.
But that's how
Much
she
better.
got to be a half a saint. She's a saint. She's a little bit. She gives everything away. If I don't check her sometimes, you think me know I'm better stuff.
No, but we had a warm, open house. My brothers could come to my dad and tell him
So she
a
changed
dirty
me,
joke.
you know.
A dirty joke. He was younger. My mother was, when they were both 25 and 24, they had us three.
First thing in your scenes first.
I know, I thought it wasn't that so.
Are you recording this? Oh boy, no.
No, that you don't record.
Sure. So that would mean what a difference it must have been.
We
You
sat-
couldn't talk to your father.
No.
All he wanted to talk was religion.
That's all. He was.
If you wanted to talk about
If I told him I made money, you know, when I for instance, inflation time, I bought him so much stuff. He thought I was a swindler. Not swindler.
He didn't
said he couldn't
grasp
understand
it.
He couldn't understand it when I got my money on a Friday. And I paid the people a month later. He said that I'm swindling. That's swindle. You know, he didn't understand it.
he never
I bought him-
appreciated
I paid him. I bought him merchandise,
Yes,
and I told
and
him
he
you
did
go ahead.
in his way.
And I paid for them to make them all new suits, my mother new dresses, and the Sophie and the whole gang, who knows, for many years
We
to come.
furnished them before we furnished ourselves.
Yeah.
And when they came
But
here, I
he
bought
used,
them new
he said, and his mother, she knew that he wasn't as religious or orthodox
said-
anymore. In fact, he was halfway away from religion when I met him because it was pressed too much on him. You see, fired back, and you had mostly Gentile, a lot of Gentile
I had everybody.
friends, and he went weekends with them and all this. I don't know how often he went, but I was used from home, my mother and all, you know, good religious. We were not Orthodox,
But I had to tell
but
I had
we
to tell
felt
him,
the religion and the holidays. It had meaning.
I had a better education when it comes to religion than they had. You know, that they
Oh, definitely. We are Amhoratzen.
Because that, the following thing happened. When I went there one Friday night with her,
Can't stay here yet.
when I went there one Friday night with your mother, so her mother saw us, so they made kiddush, you know. So her mother said, you know how to, so she told him, I'm a little religious. He didn't know how much I knew.
Excuse me, 1 second. They had lots more money than we had, but we were happier.
You had more money?
We had a lot of money.
They had money. He made in Güter, you know, in land.
You
bought
don't.
land.
You're suggesting that.
I have it downstairs. So you want to see? how
You're
much my
suggesting
father
that you don't feel Dad's family was a happy family.
No.
You don't feel your mom or father were happy.
I
together.
had the feeling that Kaufmann, I mean, he was an honorable man. Don't misunderstand.
You know, he didn't.
But he let her feel, I think he was in love with his first wife. In my opinion, with Sophie's
He marked
mother.
it down. You know why I know it? He marked it down once, and we have some kind of, I don't know who has that book, that his only love was Sophie's mother.
But he let her
And he
feel
only
it,
married-
see,
and he
that she
only-
was
and he
just
only
like a
married my
better
mother.
housekeeper.
That's
Something.
all
He
he.
never lived-
She worshipped the ground.
She worshipped him.
She worshipped him
Who?
for his your mother. Anything and everything for the Kaufmann.
He loved-
And he, I mean, he would not
He
reciprocate.
treated her like a servant.
He did. He really
Well,
did.
that's one of the things.
And
Was that though? Was that?
This I didn't like, you know. I didn't forgive him that.
You didn't?
No.
his mother was
She was a wonderful
wonderful
woman.
human being.
And I didn't like that, but I couldn't say it. How can I tell my father, listen, how do you treat my mother? And then he had it when I read that.
I
once in
mean,
the
he
book.
didn't hit her or anything, but he,
No,
I mean,
he
she
didn't.
was always in the background.
And not only this, I
Was
read
very
that once
rigid man,
in the
rigid.
book which he wrote, you know, in the Hebrew book, you know, one of those pivotal, I don't know where it was,
Yeah.
that his only love was Sophie's mother. And that's all. And he married her out of convenience or whatever it is, he married her to have a mother for Sophie. This, you know, rich I thought to myself, oh boy. So we are only born on a kind of convenience, whatever it is. doesn't say that he didn't love me, but he only loved Sophie.
He loved Sophie?
Sure, he gave Sophie all the money. All the money which he had, I don't know how much. Sophie got married, she got an awful lot of money.
So Sophie was the special child to him?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Did Sophie look like your mother?
Not like her mother.
Like her mother? She looked like her. So she reminded.
Yes.
So
He
they.
loved us, you know. He admired me afterwards when I made a success. You know,
He did. Did he ever tell you?
No.
He never.
He never asked me how much money I make.
Do you know your mother said, mine Irving is the best. In spite of religion and all that.
Listen, you know that I brought him home. I said, Dad, you need a new suit. Here's the thing. Go ahead and put it here. Let him make you a new suit.
Did your father ever hit you?
Yeah.
When?
He hit me once, you know, the two boys. I never forget it. So I told her, who's the
Kenny,
strongest?
did you see a movie, Days of Heaven?
Put that over. I want to see who the strongest is from you two guys. Whoever is the strongest gets 10 marks.
You did that.
Yes, and after they would beat each other up, and my father came to it. So he gave me a few in the face.
In the face?
Yeah. I didn't do anything. He says, what happened? So they said, well, he said, you know, we should boom. I was all right. Interesting anyway, huh? This is all a little story.
It's interesting because how would you explain your ability to grow away from that rigid Orthodox life?
Well,
Because Alfred is still very Orthodox. He's modern. And Eliezer,
well, you see, when I was young, when I was away from home, my parents had no more control over it. And I seen some of the Orthodox, they were hypocrites. To such extent that they did all kinds of things in business which were not, in my estimation, kosher. And I thought an Orthodox man has to be religious, not only in the show, but outside in his life also. It's one of those interesting things.
so it was that what it was? You saw that Orthodox...
I came in touch with other people. I seen other people live. Leipzig and Habsburg, who knows what.
So had you not gone out of your hometown...
Maybe I wouldn't know it any different. I was Orthodox when I came to Marktreid. I was the first one in shul, the last one out. I didn't know it any different. Until the guy, when the guy hit me, you know. My teacher said, Oppenheimer, hit me once. Because I came late from Israel. I watched them play soccer. I didn't play. I'm Shabbos. So I came a little late. So he says, how come you come late from Israel? Shabbos. Did you daven? You didn't. I watched you. You didn't stay the Schoen answer. So I said, what? I said it. I watched you. I said it. Boom. He hit me in front of all the hit in the house.
In front of the congregation?
In front of the outside. We were going out, yeah. I never went back anymore.
To where? To school? Or to shul?
Right, to learn from him.
Oh, you were learning with him.
Mishnah is the Gemara and Kiddushin.
How old were you? 15?
Then I was about 14, 15, yeah.
And you decided you would never go back.
I never went back.
And your father didn't say anything.
He didn't tell him. Maybe I was 16.
And that was the end of your Jewish learning?
No. Yeah, for my Jewish learning, yes. And I seen what they did to Holocaust, you know, where they lived, you know, having all the ribbons on the side, you know, some of them forcing their kids to such an extent that they don't want. So this is how you do it. Anything you're being forced to do at times, you rebel against it. Opportunity arises. But this is what happened. But I still was religious, always religious. Yeah, today I do the school. Not on the kind of habit, I like to.
You enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think in some way, when you raise a child, you have to compel certain standards.
But this is no doubt. You have to control the child has got a mind of their own.
I think you
Until
have.
a certain period comes when you can think for yourself.
I
What
think.
happens, what we indoctrinated in you to a certain age, this is what happens afterwards. That's up to you.
But I think you have. A parent has to give a strong
Yeah.
leadership.
Yeah, that's why we are not strong enough with you.
I'm not saying that.
I'm-
But you
I'm
have
saying-
to.
I'm saying it.
You have to give the child something to stand up against.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, we went through, we lost our money, you know, and all that thing.
What do you think interfered with your having a strong leadership with me? Mom?
Well, your mother always wanted me to be so strict to you. I wanted you to work for me in the summertime. I didn't want you to go to the, you know, to
Camp.
we had to work. That would be work. Then afterwards you go to talk with you something. But anyway, in the beginning,
Are you down?
So you wanted me to work in the summer?
I wanted you to work, you know, and I wanted you to, you know, she always pampered you. She loved you too much. She loved you too much.
You didn't want to.
And I always was too absorbed in my business. When I said something, sometimes I didn't want to. You're such a good woman, I didn't want to.
You didn't want to confront her?
Sometimes we did, you know. Nothing I could do. I wanted you to work, and I wanted you, you know, to be more strict, more forthright between you and me.
But what led you? How
I
come?
loved you too.
But how come you? Did you feel that Mom was responsible for the house and raising me?
Well, I tell you, I had to work so hard, you know, that you and Mother and I get along well, and I didn't want to interfere. But at times, you know, sometimes I did put my foot down, but it didn't help me. Temporarily, right? She's the one who brought you up.
She is.
To that extent that she went through whatever she wanted to do, I never do it. Our kids have to go to camp, our kids have to, what do our kids have to do? Imitate other kids. What do I care what the others do? No, and her brother says, you know, she had this with that Leo. So what has he got? It's none of his business what we do. Oh my God, he listened to it. So what can I tell you? This is what happened. So we sent you to all the camps. I know you didn't like it so much. I said, he's no good for the camp.
What was it about me that you knew I was no good for?
I felt it. I felt it. I said, let him work for me, and I'm going to love to go with me, you know, let him fool around with me. No, nothing good. We're not going to do that to him.
Did you feel that Mom, in a way, interfered?
Naturally she did.
That she wouldn't allow us to
Yeah,
spend more time together?
I wouldn't say that, but she was overprotective. Even I told you that many times. Take your wings off, will you? Leave them alone. Now they're old enough to even today yet, you know that. It's none of your business. Let them do what they want. You want to help them? Fine, but otherwise let them do what they want. If they ask you, you can give them your opinion, but not otherwise. Don't interfere in that. Don't tell them what to do. I would object to that too. Today you're not going to do it anymore. But it's too late now. You cannot repeat those years when you're young. You can transform your things, but not when you're older. I can't tell you what you're doing or that. That's your business. I wouldn't. If you ask me, I give you my opinion, but otherwise not.
It's important to you
Am I
that
wrong or right?
it's important.
Your opinion now. What is your opinion?
Is it important to you that I go to shul?
No, as long as you're happy. It's not important to me to a certain. I would like to see you have a little be a little religious, because religion gives you something that nothing else gives you. If you believe in it, if you don't, well, it's a different story. But in order to go through life without having felt something different, just reading all this stuff don't mean anything. But religion is something different. Which at times of despair and things gives you something to look forward to and hold on. and it gives you a little more confidence.
Do you feel?
Otherwise, a lot of people are lost. Today you see people, all those, like we have that in Ghana and all that today. Why? That's caused by that. Young people, Jesus, Greeks and all this, especially young, especially the ones from Jewish, but now they are teaching them again. This is my opinion, and which I'm sure you share it.
Do you feel a person needs religion, or do you feel? I wonder at this point if a person can't be religious without belonging to a synagogue.
Yes, a person can be religious without, you don't have to belong there.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
You
don't
can
have
live.
to belong, as long as you listen. This is the laws, the 10 Commandments, you can observe them without belonging to it. That's basically my idea.
Do you know what I mean? That you can live your life and be kind to people.
But in order to be with the community and with the, you have to belong to something. In order to give other people and you yourself a chance to come to you. But you do absolutely, that's what you do. That's what you should belong. And you yourself will get a kick out of it. So you see other people who have also the same idea as you. You can communicate with them and you are enjoying their company. As I see many of them who are lost and don't belong to anything. They don't know what they are. And don't care about anything.
You know, I'm glad we have an opportunity now, both of us, to talk to each other. I regret that over the years, for whatever reason, we were unable to really talk to each other.
When your communication at times, you never took out of time to sit down with me. Either you wanted to run away or you felt guilty not going to shoot. That's the way I felt. You didn't want to talk to me.
You felt that it came from me.
That's the way, yeah.
In other
That's the way
words,
I felt.
you're saying you were available.
I was always available that you could talk to me. And I told you many times, but you always pushed it off. You never wanted to go into it because you thought maybe you're hurting me. You don't. You're a grown-up person, and I respect your conviction and whatever you have in mind. That's good. But I would resent it if you would tell me, Dad, what do you go to school for? I don't know what you're doing, or whatever it is. Because I would resent it just like I would tell you. Wouldn't tell you, why don't you go to school? It's the same thing. I don't know how you feel about it, just the way I feel. The way I feel.
But are you saying?
My Orthodox upbringing still doesn't pass me off. You know what? It's still, as a matter of fact, if I go to the Orthodox temple, I feel better than I go to our temple. I don't like that. That's why I'm working now. Right, I'm 74, I'm going to be 75.
Can you sit over here?
Why, you mind you hear better? Okay. See, now I'm 74, I'm going to be 75 someday, I hope so anyway. I'm in no hurry to go. So why I'm working, I like to work. Maybe it's a matter of habit, maybe it's, I always had a drive of